Peter Parker's life has just been turned upside down. After Mysterio revealed his identity to the world, Peter is now the most famous, yet most wanted teenager in New York. The media paints him as a villain, his friends are harassed, and worst of all, he's accused of murdering Mysterio, a blind lawyer who also happens to be Daredevil. Matt assures Peter that the charges won't stick, but warns him that his life will never be the same. And he's right. Peter, MJ, and Ned's dreams of getting into MIT are crushed because of the controversy. Desperate to fix everything, Peter visits Dr. Strange. Strange agrees to help by casting a spell that will make the world forget Peter is Spider-Man. But when Peter keeps interrupting, asking Strange to let certain people remember, the spell spirals out of control. Strange barely contains it, but something is wrong. Portals to the multiverse have been cracked open. Peter tries to navigate his everyday life under constant scrutiny. Reporters hound him at school, strangers harass him on the streets, and even Flash Thompson milks the situation by pretending to be Peter's best friend to gain social media clout. The pressure builds, and Peter feels more isolated than ever. Strange warns Peter to stay out of trouble, but trouble finds him first. While visiting a bridge to talk to an MIT administrator, Peter is suddenly attacked by Dr. Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus. A fierce battle breaks out, but when Doc Ock removes Peter's mask, he's confused. "You're not my Peter Parker." Before Peter can process what's happening, Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, arrives. But before the chaos escalates, Strange intervenes, capturing Doc Ock and sending him to a magic prison under the Sanctum Sanctorum. Strange reveals that villains from other universes who knew Peter Parker's identity were pulled into their world. He orders Peter to hunt them down, giving him a magical device to teleport them into containment. One by one, Peter, MJ, and Ned track down the villains, Electro, Sandman, and the Lizard, each with their own tragic past. But then Peter meets Norman Osborn, who seems lost and afraid. Hoping to cure the villains rather than send them back to die in their worlds, Peter tries to bond with the villains, seeing them not just as threats, but as people who have suffered. He listens to Otto's story about his broken mind, Electro's loneliness, and Sandman's desire to return to his daughter. Even the Lizard, though distant, shows glimpses of longing for something more than his monstrous form. Peter, with the help of Aunt May, finds a way to heal the villains. He fixes Doc Ock's malfunctioning arms, restoring his sanity. But just as Peter is about to administer the cure to Norman, the Green Goblin personality takes over. He manipulates the other villains into turning on Peter, and all hell breaks loose. The battle ends in tragedy. Goblin kills Aunt May, leaving Peter shattered. With her dying breath, she tells him, with great power comes great responsibility. Ned, playing around with Dr. Strange's ring, accidentally opens a portal. But what steps through isn't their Peter. It's another Peter Parker, played by Andrew Garfield. Then another portal opens, revealing another Peter, played by Tobey Maguire. The three Spider-Men finally meet. The three Peters share their experiences, discussing their personal losses, their villains, and what it truly means to be Spider-Man. Andrew's Peter talks about losing Gwen Stacy. Tobey's Peter recalls his battles with the Goblin. And Tom's Peter struggles with May's death. They form an emotional bond. United by their pain and their responsibility, Peter, broken and filled with rage, is ready to kill Norman, but the other Spider-Men stop him. They share their own painful losses, reminding him that revenge isn't the answer. Together, they work on cures for the remaining villains, and head to the Statue of Liberty for a final showdown. The battle is epic. The three Spider-Men swing into action, fighting Electro, Lizard, and Sandman, while trying to administer their cures. Doc Ock, now in control of himself, helps turn the tide. Ned and MJ nearly fall to their deaths, but Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saves an NDJ, redeeming himself for failing to save Gwen in his own universe. As the fight intensifies, Electro nearly overpowers them, fueled by the energy of the arc reactor. But Peter 2, Tobey, and Peter 3, Andrew, manage to work together to short-circuit him. With the villains restored to their human forms, only one remains: the Green Goblin. Just as Peter is about to kill the goblin in blind rage, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man stops him, showing that mercy is what separates heroes from villains. Peter injects Norman with the cure, finally freeing him from the goblin persona. But the multiverse is still breaking apart. Doctor Strange struggles to hold it together, and Peter realizes there's only one way to fix everything. Everyone must forget Peter Parker exists. With a heavy heart, he asks Strange to cast the spell. MJ and Ned promise to find him again. But deep down, Peter knows they won't remember him. The spell is cast, and Peter Parker becomes a nobody. He visits MJ, hoping to remind her of their love, but seeing her happy and safe, he decides to leave. Alone but determined, Peter moves into a small apartment and stitches together a new, classic Spider-Man suit. As he swings into the night, he embraces his destiny, not as the world-famous Spider-Man, but as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It brings together 3 generations of Spider-Man fans and delivers a heartfelt, action-packed story about responsibility, sacrifice, and what it truly means to be a hero. And that's the story of Spider-Man No Way Home. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more superhero content. Thanks for watching, and remember, great power comes with great responsibility.